Is that a voice to be
Yeah.
They're like, it's
Better than yours. Welcome to Outlandish, the podcast where we explore the funny side of sex and relationships, the good stuff and the bad. I'm Lisa Nash.
And I'm Melanie Cameron. Each episode, we look at the hot topics everyone's talking about in the media, relating to sex and relationships. Expect lots of laughs, a whole lot of real talk, mixed in with some super special guests.
And today, joining us, we've got Emilie Lavinia, who's the sex and relationships editor at the Cosmopolitan. We're going to be talking to her about the sexual power and how women can conquer sexual shame.
So, pour yourself a glass of wine and get ready for a fun take on love and lust.
Ooh.
How are you, Lise?
Oh, well, we were just thinking about this, actually. We were talking about it. Are we going to keep it like positive? Or
we're going to tell the truth.
Yeah, we're going to tell the truth, which is, we're still tired.
I just said, what have we done since last week? And we were like, no, I'm still tired, more tired than last week.
I seem very tired today.
And also, your ability to be able to use words seems worse than last week.
Yeah, they're not, I think it's just, I've got fog brain today, but I'm here. You're present
and correct.
Yeah. So, no, do you know what? I haven't done anything all weekend. Just chilled, really, to be honest.
I was thinking the same. I didn't do anything. I did watch a whole heap of TikTok because it was Super Bowl yesterday in America. Now, I know zilch about the Super Bowl, who was playing, who won.
The Ben Affleck little video.
Yeah. Oh, I might watch Usher at half time.
Yeah.
But apart from that,
which is quite funny actually.
It's do you know what it is? I love the fact that there's a massive focus around food for Super Bowl. I was like, I could get on board with this. And I've seen so much stuff, like so many celebrities and attending it. And
that's always the visual nice thing as well, isn't it? And just to be able to watch them and stuff.
Well,
but talking of food, I've eaten a lot this weekend, and it's all I've done for the last month is actually speak about, eating really healthy, no sugar, no alcohol, which I'm sure you're all bored of now.
How's that working out for you, Lee?
Well, it's not going so well. We just did a shot of tequila. We actually said that we weren't going to say that.
You said you weren't going to say it. You said, we better not talk about this because people will think we've got a problem.
But we're just being honest, right?
And I said no, because I think if most people were honest about their alcohol consumption, we all know.
So we basically done a shot of tequila, and now we've got tequila and I was going to say KO, but KA. Exactly. The words, the letters. We're going to come to the acronym soon.
Oh, you said it right.
I know.
When we were talking what did you say? Acronym.
Yeah. And she likes that. She likes it when I mess up my words. Again, it's just the fog brain. But going back on the food, I've just eaten a lot this weekend.
I was quite impressed by your eating today.
I know.
I'm a little bit gel.
I know I've eaten quite a lot and it's carbs. And I think it definitely...
wasn't that. You said the magic word Greg's and I was like, ooh.
And Pret. Basically, I got up this morning and normally I'm really organised in the sense of just organising my food prepping and that. And I didn't do anything and I was out all day. So I kind of literally went to Greg's and to Pret. And I didn't even go, like, normally if I go to Pret, I'll have like a nice salad or something. But I literally just had a Swedish meatball. And then at Greg's, I had a sausage bean and,
the bakes.
Yeah, I love them.
I love a steak bake and a sausage roll. Oh, you can't beat it.
I know. So basically, I've had a lot of carbs. And yesterday,
there's no Greg's open now. I need a Greg's now.
Oh no, I'm over it all. But yeah, it definitely does make you feel a little bit more tired. I'm putting it down to that. Next week there'll be another story of why we're tired, and it won't be anything to do with food.
Oh, you know what? I think it's good to have those days anyway. As my nan used to say, little of what you fancy does you good.
Yeah.
My nan knew everything about everything. If she didn't have a saying, she'd make one up. Like she once said, well, there's always an end to a lump of string. What does that even mean?
I have no idea.
Neither
I'm going to be
did
thinking
she.
about that now the whole podcast. But let's get the lump of string out my head.
So, this week we've been looking at our usual articles, and there was one that I really liked, which is about, well, obviously Valentine's Day is coming up. So we're talking about...
Oh, by the way, I just need to get this in. Mel's asked me not to read the articles. So if I come across, like, I have no idea what she's talking about. That's why, because normally I like to do a little bit of research. But today she's asked me not to. So I will apologise in advance.
There's a reason for this. It will all become apparent. I thought you were going to talk about my outfit because you said that.
Oh my gosh, listen, right. So for all of our listeners, most people listen to us on Spotify or Apple, but if you go onto the YouTube, you can actually see that I'm sitting with a school person. She's literally just looked like she's come from school. She's got a white shirt on, some jeans and some trainers. I feel like I need to sign your shirt. It's like the last leaving day. And obviously she's like Diddy. So she looks like my little school friend today.
Listen, on the last leaving day, it was sign your shirt and then we just egged and flowered everyone. So you might want to be careful if you want to sign my shirt.
Okay.
But I've just, all of a sudden I looked at myself and went, oh, it is a bit Kevin and Perry.
No, I like it though. But as you can see, we've both gone very plain today. I've got a plain black top and you've got a plain white.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah.
All right. So my first subject this week.
Okay.
Right, this one's quite wild. You know when you're a kid, right?
I can't really remember that far back, but yeah.
During a war.
Yeah. My daughter always says, Mum, when you lived on a farm, I'm like, no, I used to go on a farm when I was a child because all my family are Irish. They used to have big farms. But she actually thinks I grew up on a farm.
My niece said to me, Auntie Mel, did they have TV when you were a little girl? Yes, they did. We only had 4 channels, but we did.
And it's black and white.
And it was black and white. And sometimes, quite frankly, it was held together with a coat hanger if your area went.
Say that, and you used to have to just keep moving it around.
Yeah. Your dad would be stood there going, that's it, don't move.
Yeah, don't.
And he'd be, Milnie, I can't stand like that's all night. Come on. Right, so the Guinness World Records was a massive thing when you were a kid, right? You remember getting the albums and it was a big thick book, and you'd be like, oh, I could get in the Guinness World Records. I didn't know that there is a sex-related section on the Guinness World
really?
Records.
Well, I'm not surprised actually.
You know, I was.
Was you?
Yeah.
Nothing surprises me anymore because we've been doing this podcast. Something to do with sex.
Very true.
I've got some things coming up in a bit.
Oh, God, I dread to think, because I also was not allowed to read your articles this week. So, okay, so in this Guinness World Records, Guinness Book of... Guinness...
She definitely turned into me
What
today.
is going on?
The Guinness World Book of Records.
No,
the World Book of Guinness Records. But we know what we mean.
We went to school, I promise. Hold on, I've got to read it out now. Wait, let me get it up.
The Guinness Book of World Records.
Oh, that sounds like it might be right.
Yeah.
The
Guinness Book of World
you
Records.
know what? I'm just going to give you that because...
Yes, we're going to move on.
That sounds right. Anyway, in this, there is the largest collection of condoms.
Oh, wow.
One man.
Are these all for humans, though? Well, I don't suppose anyone... Can you imagine like a horse going into the shops? Nah. Oh my God. But I'm sure I read something about like
what animal condoms?
We're going to move forward very quickly.
We're definitely not. Because wait a minute, you say your cat before it goes out. Now listen, don't forget your condoms if you're going to go running up and down them streets.
Well, I'm just thinking, like
No,
like how a cat gets neutered, or like
neutered.
Is it neutered? No, you know what I mean.
It's neutered.
Neutered.
It's a newt.
Yeah.
Neutered.
Anyway, that. But if they can't, they want to, like,
What do you think the cat does? Gets a little condom out of his little wallet that he's got wearing around his. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm crying.
I can't. Well, yeah. So this man has got a collection of human condoms. There's a sentence I never thought I'd have to say. He's got 2,077. So
what condoms?
Yeah, he's clearly not getting much of it. Bless him.
Collectible items.
What?
They're collectible items. Must be all different flavours and sizes and textures.
The oldest one is from 1800.
Oh my gosh!
This made me feel.
Well, they actually had condoms back then.
Well, this made me a little bit.
Okay.
It was it was made from sheep's bowel.
Oh.
See, that's where the cat draws the line. I'm not putting this sheep's bowel on me.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
look at my eyes, they're just like thinking.
The most expensive pair of chicken fillets. Now, girls will all know about the chicken fillets. They're the little things that go in your bras to give you a bit of cleavage and a bit of push-up. And they look a bit like chicken fillets. Well, they used to. The most expensive were sold for $5,000 and they belonged to Marilyn Monroe.
Oh my gosh.
I would buy them to have.
What they actually in her breasts before they were
You can't make it up.
No, but no, it's not like that would be wrong actually, isn't it? Oh, they were just like
So they were like bra inside.
Yeah, no, I get that. But what I was thinking.
God, no, please tell me what you were thinking. We'd all like to know what she's thinking.
Oh, right, okay. So, yeah, because she did have... But I actually thought they were like hers, but like breast...
Well, I think...
like, obviously, boob job kind of thing.
Well,
but it wasn't actually...
I think we all... Even if you've got a good pair of boobs, sometimes you want that little bit of lift up.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I remember my first pair... Back in the day when I first got them, they cost me 250 quid.
Really?
Yeah. They were like a brand new thing out.
See, when I was younger, I just put a pair of socks down there.
Yeah, well, but these were like, they were so amazing.
Where are they? Can I borrow them?
I don't even know what happened to them. I probably lost
£250, I'd still have them.
I probably left one at an after party somewhere. But I went to Dickinson Jones and they actually fitted me for them.
Oh, really?
It cost 250 quid. And I remember being at Charlie Chan's one night and my friend went, Mel.
One popping out slightly, yeah.
Looked like a bit of chicken was popping out the top of my bra. But yeah, they were awesome. Or 250 quid.
Well,
not quite $5,000.
They'd want to be, yeah. They'd want to be for that price.
And the other thing that's in the Guinness Book of World Records. That's it. Why can't I say that? Is the most frequent sex. And that's 50 times in 3 to 4 hours.
Who the hell would do that? He's got to be on Viagra.
Well, it's not a human.
Oh!
So it might be one of your friends, your animal friends, that's using their condom. And it's the scaly cricket from Australia. That bad boy can get it on 50 times in 3 to 4 hours.
So where does this kind of research come from?
Know.
David Attenborough?
I don't
really
know.
kind of like...
I don't know, but... I mean,
that's a lot in 3 to 4 hours.
That's quick.
And then what happens after? He sleeps for a week.
Depends how much he likes her, I suppose.
Yeah.
He might hang about. He might get an Uber and be gone. I don't know. And that's it. That's the end of my stories.
Right, okay, so I've got one that we're going to be talking about. And I've actually got some quite strange stories, but each of their own. So I'm going to read about it and you can tell me what you think, okay? So in America,
Starts every good story.
Yeah, they do it here as well, I might add. But basically people pay up to £300 to dress up in baby diapers. So there's actually this, it's like, actually we're going to use this word here, acronym. So it's ABDL and it stands for Adult Baby Diaper Lovers. So yeah, they've got a diaper spa in America. I know it is actually, I don't want to say because obviously there's people that are, that are into it and like I said, each their own, but yeah, it's a baby spa. I mean, there has been some controversy about it, I might add, because obviously there's neighbouring people that live near this spa and they're a bit concerned, obviously, with adults going there. I don't know whether they actually leave in their diapers, but
Is it because they see them?
But there has been some comments about that. But it actually goes back to a lot of people speak about it, and they say that it's not necessarily a sexual thing. It can be for past trauma. So I know that, which kind of made me think, okay, that's fair enough. And it, if someone wants to explore that, of going back to how they felt when they was a child, then so like I said, it's apparently there's nothing sexual about it, even though.
So wait,
but it's also a place that they're safe and there's no judgment. So obviously it's some kind of fetish.
Yeah, so that's where I can't that's where I get if it's a place and it's safe and And
I've just dribbled. Can I have a bib?
If you could see our engineer, he's just going like this.
Joey, that just come out.
He's just shaking his head because no matter how often he records us,
there's always someone.
We disappoint him every week.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But there's also, like, when you go there, there's lots of things that you can do. So you get your snacks.
What? You get your what?
You get snacks. You get bibs. Talk about the bibs.
Wait, go back to the snacks. What do we get?
I guess they'd just be like, healthy cheese crisps.
What did you say?
Well, like kids like snacks, don't they? So listen, let's not mock this too much. Okay, so they get snacks, they get playtime, they get story time, they get cuddles, they get nursery rhymes. They do a little sing along. They get playtime as well. So anyway, so that is my story of the week. So talking about the diaper spa, crying once again. So we're going to talk about another one, unless you've got any. Have you got any comments, Mel? Anything that you'd like?
Just look. You know what? Again, each to their own, and we genuinely mean that. It's just. I think when it's something that's quite a little bit far out there, it's hard to. I'm trying to know.
I know, like what Mel says. I second that. We genuinely,
there is no judgment.
Of course not,
because it's something that we don't necessarily understand.
But also, like, they do talk a lot about it being like, helping with trauma and heal. So if that works, then that's amazing. I genuinely
get that. Like, if you've not had. Sorry, I just really spoke over you. Then
that's all right. Do it every week. Nothing new there.
Pots and kettles. No, I think if you've had a particularly traumatic childhood and that can give you some sort of peace, I totally get that.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure why you would need to be in a diaper or a nappy, as we say here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, if you've got any views on it, please do let us know. Right, moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah. So my second story, I've got quite strange stories this week. This one's about the Amazonian warriors.
Okay.
So this is about giant women, so 6 foot, 7 foot, and so they're like the mythical goddesses. So there's a massive thing that the giantess hashtag on TikTok. You've got giantess crush. They get 1 billion views.
What?
So there's a lot of men out there that are loving big women. It does kind of
that's me out
give us a whole new meaning to larger than life, doesn't it?
That's me out the equation.
I was going to say, how tall are you?
5'2.5", and when you're only 5'2", that half makes all the difference.
I'm not sure if there's like a limited size, but I do think it's 6 foot plus, 7 foot.
Yeah, well, I'm way
no.
out the
You
game.
need a couple more.
Yeah, I'm a Polly Pocket over here.
Yeah.
I'm a borrower.
So it's all about the size kink, So it's another kind of fetish. Obviously, it's our favourite topic. We love talking about fetishes.
Yeah, we love a kink.
So just think basketball player, female basketball player.
Okay.
So, I suppose, if you think about it, you go back to, like if you've got on these dating apps and stuff that women do put like a size for men.
Yeah.
So I think it's the other way kind of round. Men are going like, I want a very large woman. But I think there is some crawling involved as well. So it's kind of like...
Wait a minute. See, this was all very like, yep, get this, makes sense. Yep, it's all women.
I think, again...
Crawling.
I think like they get down on all fours and they kind of crawl around. So I'm not quite sure if I got that one right. But no, they are. There's so I don't know whether it must be a dominance thing. I'm going to say it's a dominance thing. So like it's like a form of submission, isn't it?
Oh wait. But wait, but then that's the woman. If the woman's on all fours, surely she's submitting, doesn't?
Well, maybe it's more pet play.
Are you just making shit up now?
I feel very close to animals today.
Oh, but make sure that animal's wearing a condom, Liz.
Oh dear.
No, I am.
But also the other thing is, like when we talk about, I think when we had one of our guests on here before, when we was talking to her and about doing the voice on the kind of sexual role play, and we was like, oh, you earn that much money, and it was a residual income.
Yeah.
Well, this apparently, the whole like being a giantess. I'm not sure why I'm telling you because you can never apply. But
please tell me how I can never make this amount of money.
But it's a third highest earning capacity on Pornhub.
Wait.
So there's lots and lots of men out there wanting.
Is it higher or lower than cake sitting?
I'm going to say, well, there's 1 billion views on TikTok. Apparently, people are really loving it. So they're looking for...
What is...
Does that actually include... Can you be tall like if you wore platforms?
Look at it, asking for a friend.
That's the friend.
I need to be on stilts even to be in with a chance.
So I don't know, but listen... Wonderful. Fair play to all those tall women that are out there.
Yeah.
Get yourselves on Pornhub.
Listen, and also to all of those men, women, non-binary that are out there living their best lives on and making their peas on.
But you know what?
Pornhub and OnlyFans. Good luck to you.
But you know who said that you have to be? Like, 'cause it's always been that stereotypical. You get a taller man with a shorter woman. Who says that it can't be the other way around? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So...
I mean, I don't know. I'm saying that like I know.
In 2030, we're going to see the dynamics change.
Do you think?
Yeah. I quoted it first.
You heard it here first from Lisa Nash.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's enough of my weird stories for today.
I'm just going to take a minute before we bring our guest on.
Well, do you know what? I feel like I'm learning so much.
Oh, no, me too.
Doing this podcast.
Me too. And as much as we laugh, because... we don't want it to be people to think it's weird. Some of it is just funny and in jest.
Yeah.
Look, I'm trying to dig myself out of a hole because I laughed a lot of the time.
I know, we do laugh, but it is like we're learning new things. And I think, sometimes...
Where's my snacks?
Yeah. Your playtime, your nursery rhymes. I'm going to play them later. Right, let's move on and speak to our wonderful guest,
Emilie.
Yes, she's the sex lady that's going to be talking about...
The sex lady?
The sex lady. Maybe... Oh, we'll cut that.
I'm sure she's got a much more important title than that. She's the sex and relationships editor at Cosmopolitan magazine, which is quite a big deal. More of a big deal than the sex lady. So, Emilie, welcome to Outlandish, and thank you so much for joining us. You have got a very, very cool job. Would you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself and what a day in the life of Emilie is?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. It's really exciting to be on the podcast. Yeah, sure. So I'm the sex and relationships editor at Cosmopolitan magazine, and I'm also a sexologist, journalist. I do a bit of consulting and various other bits and bobs pertaining to sex and relationships. So my day is always a little bit different because of that. Mainly it's editing and writing, working with freelancers, working with cool educators and individuals in the world of sex and relationships, sometimes chasing down a story. Other days I get to do fun stuff like record with you guys or do some TV or radio. And sometimes I am just looking at the kind of the biggest trends in sex and relationships, chasing down a story, and kind of sitting at my desk and doing something that's generally quite boring. But sometimes it's more glam, and some days I get to do fun stuff, like talk to you guys.
Well, this is what I was going to go back to. So what is the...
But no, before you do, thanks for saying we're the fun stuff. Emilie. Like when someone from Cosmo says we're the fun stuff.
Can you quote that actually?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So what I was going to say, so a sexologist, tell us exactly what that means. And also I want to know, what's your favourite kind of topic to cover? Is it like the juicier the better?
Well, it depends really. I mean, a sexologist is a one because it basically covers the study of sex. So for me, that began quite academically. And then I branched out into learning about sex from an LGBTQ plus perspective, from a kind of trauma-informed and shame perspective. Some people who are sexologists also go into it in a very academic field, so they become sex therapists. Some people like myself become sex educators and journalists. And some people come at it from a really woo-woo perspective. So they're all about kind of somatic sexology and looking at kind of how we hold trauma in the body and using all kinds of woo-woo developments and different techniques to move through that and to feel much healthier and much better in terms of your sexuality. So it's kind of broad, but yeah, it's basically the study of sex. So for me, my favorite way of interpreting that is helping people to cast off their connection with shame culture, look at what their blocks are in terms of why they feel negative about sex, and start trying to think about it from a more humanistic and more joyful and more enjoyable perspective. And there's a lot that makes us feel ashamed and a lot that stands in the way of that. So the thing I like doing is unpicking that and getting to the root of it.
So do you think there's still a lot of shame with sex? I know there is with, I suppose, religion, so to speak, but also I think the world is getting a little bit more kind of relaxed and with their approach to sex. But where do you think the shame lies the most? How do you get rid of that?
Yeah, is it mainly from what you're taught from childhood? Is that where it comes from?
I think so, yeah. And it's weird because we have personal shame and then we have societal shame. So we kind of have to come at it from two perspectives. You've got your personal shame. So anything anyone ever said to you, the way you felt at school, your sex education, the way partners made you feel, all of that we take on, and that forms our personal relationship with shame. But then we also have the broader societal shame. So the way sex is presented in media, what we read, slut shaming of celebrities, it all boils down to create this very specific brand of shame that we all carry around. And some of us find it much easier to cast it off and ignore it than others. Some of us end up with it really deeply ingrained to the point where
it's definitely an experience, isn't it? It's something that's happened to you personally. Then that could really kind of shape how you feel towards sex. It could be that one incident, I think, couldn't it? That's it's unfortunate, but it does actually shape how you feel about different partners, I suppose, in the future. And that's quite sad, isn't it? Mm.
Yeah, exactly. And we hold on to that, and we especially hold on to that as women. I think it obviously affects us a lot more because there's more of a negative association with female sexuality than there is with male sexuality. And that's not in every single scenario. You're right, things are changing. We've got amazing female-led brands. We've got amazing magazines that are, publishing incredible advice and empowering stuff on how you should love yourself and how you shouldn't feel ashamed. There are so many sex toy brands out there now. Things are changing, but collectively we are all still struggling a little bit with this societal shame, and it's quite difficult to shake it off, especially with the way we speak to kids. They will take that with them and they will turn into grown-ups who hold on to it. So that's kind of what I'm trying to interrogate.
That's something I was going to ask you, Emilie. I mean, I obviously we're a bit older than you, but I remember sex education in school being something very brief.
Did you get one of those books that had like stick kind of people?
It was almost like a tick box exercise because that was on the curriculum. It was awkward. It was uncomfortable. It was
giggly.
It was just right. We're going to talk about this now because we have to, and it was all just very British. And let's just okay, we've done that. Now move on. This is the time when so much of that is formed in your brain. Has it changed? Is it changing? And how important is that?
it's definitely changing, and I'm really glad that it is. Even now, to the point where we're giving kids so much information, parents are actually pushing back and saying, I don't really want my kids to learn about all this at such a young age. But that's another discussion to be had.
Yeah.
But it's changed so much, because I remember my sex education was awful, really cringe, didn't prepare me for anything. And it is, with each generation getting better. But
sorry to interrupt you. That's such a valid point. It's like from what I gather and what I hear, there's a lot of people having sex a lot younger. So is the right thing to do is to educate them, not encourage them, educate them on what's right and what's wrong, and how they should deal with that as well.
Absolutely. I mean, if kids are going to be doing it, you've got to be telling them how to do it safely, how to talk about it, how to communicate to parents, teachers, guardians, whoever, that what is happening is okay and not dodgy, because, it's about ultimately protecting kids and making sure that they are okay. We don't want to get to a situation where no child is equipped with the right language so they can't talk about what's happening to them. That's a bad situation to be in.
I totally agree. And I think I was really fortunate to have a very close relationship with my mum. But not all of my friends were. And I remember, talking about, I could have that conversation with my mum where I was like, I think I'm ready. And she was just really honest with me. And, I remember her saying, it's really similar to, I'd rather, if you're going to go out and get drunk with your friends, I'd rather you do it under my roof where I know that you're safe in another room. And if something happens, I can control that, rather than you going to do it in an alleyway or sitting in a park with your friends. Kids are going to do what they're going to do. You're never going to stop it. But it's how safe it is, right? And
also the thing with phones and that these days.
With it.
People filming stuff like this as well, which is,
and
it ruins kids' lives, doesn't it? If they post anything or... and then when we're talking about the shaming side of, sex, especially in the younger generation.
Exactly. And that's why sex ed is so important as well, and why articles that we write for Cosmo are so important, because they are for quite a young audience. We have to let people know what the laws are around digital image sharing. We have to let people know how they can stay safe. Some people are talking about the fact that Gen Z are known as the Puritans because they don't want to have sex. They're frightened of it. They're scared of what might happen. They've been completely shell-shocked by revenge porn, digital image sharing, what they're seeing online. They're terrified that their own images are going to be shared. So they've got this reputation for just not wanting to get involved with sex at all, which you can kind of understand in a way, because you would feel quite shook by the idea of sex being such a negative thing because of the digital ramifications of what might happen. When we were all, doing what we were doing, when I was at school, phones they didn't really have the capability. Social media didn't really have the scope or the reach. And
it wasn't even around when me and Lisa were at school.
So it wasn't as much of a threat.
You keep dropping these things in so people know what our ages are.
No, but that scares the life out of me.
Yeah, it's not a risk, then you're not going to be as afraid. Whereas now there's this whole other, shed load of things that you've got to worry about. So you can see why sex education might be more important than ever, and also why kids might be a bit more nervous than ever. So part of the work I do as a journalist, also as a sex educator, as a sexologist, is tapping into good education, making sure it's available, making sure the right information is available, because I love social media. There's so much false information. There's so much shit online. Am I allowed to swear? Sorry.
Yes, you are. Go for it, Emily. Say how you feel, girl.
When it makes me really wound up.
Yeah,
because
go for it.
So much false information. And, kids they're receiving that.
Yeah.
And, they're watching viral videos. And it's not only about false information. It's about slut shaming. It's about, negative messages around female sexuality. It's about things like body count. It's about things like how you smell down there or anything.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying young people. So we need to, as journalists and as educators, be the antidote to that by putting positive, self-affirming, correct information out there, which, social media is a double-edged sword. It's great for that, but also it does create a platform for...
I love that,
really,
though. Yeah, that gave me goosebumps, actually, Emily.
Do you know what the thing is? We did speak about it, actually, I think, last week, about sex being part of an adult everyday kind of life, when you're kind of married or you're in a relationship, and it's not something to be ashamed of. And that's the thing. We don't want the Gen Z kind of population obviously having sex too young, but when they do get to a stage, not being scared of it and not being, worried. I've actually got goosebumps. Look at that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Not being worried of that maybe their first experience or their ongoing experience, that they can have an argument and it might ruin that. It's sad actually.
There's so much more to think about than there used to be years ago. So there are so many things to question.
Yeah.
But what if but maybe, and whereas years before, when we didn't have all of the social media and the phones and the things like that, it wasn't even a concern. There's just a lot more overthinking now.
So actually, to ask you then, for people that are listening to this podcast, what would be your top couple of tips, to make sure that something like that didn't happen, that they didn't end up feeling ashamed or being shamed?
I think the first thing you can do is to have a strong sense of self, which is obviously much easier said than done. But if you are going to match with people on dating apps, send images to people you don't know, just have a really good sense of where your boundaries are. Really think about it, write down a list if it's useful to you, to be like, what am I okay with and what am I not? If someone I've been chatting to for 2 days is like, you owe me a picture, do I think that's acceptable?
No,
if not,
no, it's not. Also, do you know what? If they were going to get down to the nitty gritty, would you think it would be okay to say, leave phones outside the room? Is that something? I mean, I'm old, but do you know what I mean? In this younger generation, would that be a sensible thing to say?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously, with the Stephen Bear case, with what happened,
that's what I was just thinking about.
Yeah, and it really made people think, how do I know that I'm not being filmed without my consent? You're well within your rights to say to a partner, can I just check that there are no cameras here? And actually, can you leave your phone out there?
You're going to feel a lot more relaxed as well, aren't you?
And do you know what? I just want to say this, because I know Georgia, and all power to her for turning such a negative situation.
And making it aware out there that people understand.
She just turned the power and took it all back and made it hers. So bravo to her for that.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible, the bravery that it took to do that, because when we talk about shame, that's a key example of how a victim often feels ashamed, doesn't want to come forward, doesn't want to put their face on the case and say, this happened to me, because they'd be worried about what people might think. Georgia took it and said, you know what, it's already happened, I don't care, I'll be the face of this.
Yeah.
Well, what a great way to look at it. Listen, Emilie, we could talk to you for ages, and we always say this, like for hours. Yeah. Thank you so much. But we're going to have to cut it short. But hopefully one day we can get you in the studio and do a longer version. It's been very insightful.
Do you drink wine, Emilie?
I would drink wine with you guys in the studio happily.
Okay, so
she's coming in. She's coming in.
And
you know what? I just think
we'll get the wine in, Emilie, and we'll have a good long chat.
I just think it's really important. I love what you've said, just to kind of, protect the Gen Z kind of generation and older generation, or anyone that goes on these dating sites. It's really important. So thank you so much.
Emilie, where can people find you if they want to know a bit more about
Cosmo.
you and what you do? Yes, exactly.
But what's your Insta?
You can on cosmo.com/UK, or you can find me at Emilie Lavinia UK on Instagram, Emilie Lavinia on TikTok and Twitter, or you can find me at emilielavinia.com if you want to look at my website and the work I do.
Brilliant. Thank you,
Emilie,
so
you
much.
are a busy girl, because I hear you doing all these things. You're keeping all of those social platforms updated. That's a whole job in itself.
Brilliant.
You know what? That really feels that way. Thank you so much for having me.
Please come in and drink wine with us soon and talk more with us. We'd really love that.
Love to. Thank you so much.
Thanks, bye, darling. See you later. Bye-bye.
So Emilie's coming back. She was amazing.
Loved her.
Really, really loved her.
I think we both got goosebumps during that, didn't we?
Totally.
Yeah.
I think what she had to say and the work that she's doing is amazing. So let's bring her on and
definitely
drink wine together.
And it's really the message is really important, which is the main thing as well, isn't it?
Important. And actually,
thank you, Emilie.
It's quite freaky actually to think that the new generation are getting so scared of sex.
Yeah, I didn't realise that actually, which Yeah.
Well, let's see if Auntie Mel and Auntie Lisa can't do something about that.
Well, listen, as always, towards the end of the show, we do at the end of the show, we do the love line. So here we go. Hi, girls. My husband had an affair about 10 years ago. It was painful, but I managed to take him back and even learned to stop bringing it up every time we have an argument. Now, this is the thing we always talk about when you bring things up.
Well, let it go.
So I feel like our relationship has been good for the last 7 or 8 years since then. However, just before Christmas, I went to my husband's work Christmas party. I kept noticing him chatting away with one of his very attractive, I might add, work colleagues. Since then, I've managed to convince myself there's something going on. I love that. I've managed to convince myself. And this is the problem. Like you kind of almost torment yourself, isn't it?
Yes, you do.
I'm now getting obsessed over it and keep checking his phone. Am I crazy, or is this a woman's intuition? Now, your husband had an affair 10 years ago. It's weird because I spoke to someone.
You're not crazy.
I spoke to someone in the office briefly about this, and they said that they would have left his heirs, but it's not always as plain sailing as that.
No.
There are a lot of affairs that do recover, so I don't think that's always the be all and end all. But
we've talked about this on previous episodes, where actually
Yeah.
an affair can be a bit of a making point for a relationship.
but no one knows what's going on apart from you soon if it's
Exactly.
a reoccurring fact. So this is the thing I think she just needs to realise, or not realise, like take into account. Is it something that when you say you've let it go, have you really let it go?
Yeah, this is it.
And that's it. And I think is the trust broken after an affair?
Oh, this is what, when we spoke to, I think Lucy Beresford, she was saying, sometimes it can be like a make
an
or
eye
break
opening and
situation.
realise what you've got and what you want to.
But I will
keep.
say, one of our good friends, Nicola, our noodles, she always says, never ignore your gut. It's there for a reason.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really important thing. You just get that gut feeling, just that intuition. It's there for a reason. And I think sometimes we just get a feeling and we know. But
see, in this situation,
that feeling being driven by
what happened before,
and you just happen to see, he might have been having that conversation with lots of different people, but you've honed in on the really attractive one and gone, oh, well, if I was going to have an affair, it would be with her. So she's the one. It's a really tricky one. My mum would have said, you've got two options, girl. You either put up and shut up, or you get out.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, if you've chosen to move past it, as difficult as it is,
you've just got to let it go. Because otherwise,
let it go.
Let it go. That's why I don't do the singing. Mel does. But
or if anyone's got their AirPods in listening to that,
you might want to take them out now. Listen, I wish you all the best with this, but I really do think it's only you that can answer this. And it's either something that has triggered from the past and what happened.
I think have the conversation as well, because I think, again,
and find out, maybe meet her.
But no, have the conversation.
I don't
with
mean
your
like
husband.
stalker.
Hello. I think have the conversation with your husband and go, look, I'm going to be honest. I'm feeling a certain kind of way.
Is there anything in that?
Yeah, and let him talk to you. You'll know.
But it's also, if she's feeling it and she's watching them have a conversation, there's like, you know when two people are having a conversation, it's completely platonic, or I don't know. I'm getting myself confused here because I think sometimes you can read into it a bit. Yeah,
you can really trick your mind can trick you into believing you've seen something you haven't, because that's where your head's going. But equally, I think if you have that conversation with your husband, just be honest and go, listen, that really made me feel away. You might have one conversation and
you go, oh my God,
I've been ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because there are situations, I've done it myself. I am very much, I can take one, add it to 2 and get to 97 in 0.03.
Yeah.
I can do that quite easily. My brain can jump to conclusions. So sometimes having that
I think we're all capable of it. So I think that's great advice actually from you, Mel.
Thanks, Liz.
No,
I should drink tequila more often.
No, that is. I think that's probably the best advice. Have the conversation with your husband before jumping to 97. Like Mel does. Listen, guys.
It's been brilliant. As I just think we deteriorate as every episode goes on. So thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah.
You know where we are.
We love you.
We love you. Like, follow, subscribe.
All the rest of it.
Review.
And actually get over to our YouTube channel. It's actually spelt though Outlandish. The I is a 1.
Is it?
I think so. No, it is. It's Outlandish. It's spelled. It's with a 1.
I want to check this because I don't trust.
Do it.
I don't trust her in any way, shape, or form.
That's not a very nice thing to say, is it? It is Outlandish.
Do
with
you?
a 1.
All right. Do you trust you?
Yes, I'm going to show you actually. For a minute.
You know where we are. Follow us on socials, on Instagram, TikTok. Like, follow, subscribe, and get us on all of your podcast platforms.
And there you go. Oh no, it's look, Outlandish with a 1.
She's right.
Thank you very much. Goodbye. Until next time.